Morning, everybody, and welcome to this podcast. It's exciting for me because it's the first time I've really done this from our offices in California. And I didn't think it would go quite as smoothly as it's gone in terms of setting it up. And I thank Cherry for that. And thank you guys for being here. And the weather is going to be about 88 today. And it hasn't, we've been down here for about 4 weeks and it hasn't rained one single day. So I'm excited to be here. Let's kind of start from the beginning, because for me, this is basically new, and it might be new for many of the members of this audience, and to engage with you and your responsibilities with this organization. So why don't we start? We haven't started yet. Why don't we start with talking about the organization? And it's called the Senior Service Society of BC, which is a bit of a mouthful, actually. So we'll begin with that, and I'll start in about 2 or 3 seconds.
Yeah, so Senior Services Society, we've been around for quite some time. So the services that we provide here at Senior Services, we do have 3 departments. One is support services, which I currently run. Another one will be housing. So they deal with the housing staff. So we're helping them with information and guidance, housing listings, and all that kind of stuff. And finally, there is we call it integrated social program. So the idea behind it is we're showing that this is the other way of moving forward, to provide services to seniors who are living in one building, and will provide the necessary non-medical services such as transportation, grocery shopping, support calls, exercise, and those kind of stuff.
Okay. And Gustav, tell me how you got involved.
Well, it all started when I actually was going through the internet, and I was reading a forum on people who've basically been locked up for a while and then come back into society. And I thought about the big differences in just know-how and technology. Like you miss like 4 years, 5 years, and then you come back and people have like phones that they can find everything with, right? And so that got me thinking, like, if you're isolated and you have like less contact with other people, people like seniors would be in that situation. And then coincidentally, someone from our volunteer group, from our young adult ministry, had a connection with SSSBC. And then, yeah, they asked me to come aboard and help out with the digital literacy training. And yeah, and from there, that's how I got pulled in. And, it's really interesting to see how some people have fallen behind, because a lot of the stuff that can help you like learn and develop is on the internet. And once you've basically been left behind and you don't have access or know how to access or Google or search, that puts you at a pretty big disadvantage. So yeah, in short, that's how I got into this.
Zendel, what's your story?
Yes, so we had a connection through the Young Adults Ministry with Our Lady of Mercy Parish. So we are based in Burnaby, BC, and that's how we were introduced to SSSBC. And that's also where we had started off with Gustav's project of the senior digital training, then later off went into my gift bag care project with the seniors.
Okay. And how long have you been involved with the organization?
We've been involved since 2018. We started off as a leadership group to bridge our own generation to the next generation. So we started off with volunteering arts and crafts to the homeless shelters. And when the pandemic started in 2020, that's when we came up with ideas to give back to the community during Christmas, which was the gift of care bags. And in 2021, the digital training with Gustav, and working really closely with SSSBC.
And Stephanie?
Well, the beginning of the pandemic, I lost my job due to COVID. And I was listening to, I believe it was CBC radio, and they were saying that senior citizens needed some help going grocery shopping. So I thought, well, I don't have anything to do, so seems like a good plan. And that's how I got myself involved, and I've been with them ever since.
So tell me, first of all, it's quite impressive for me to see you young people being so dedicated and interested in helping seniors. What exactly are the ages that you call seniors? When does that start?
I believe in the textbook it's 55 plus, but
55 plus.
yeah, here in the Senior Services Society, we
It makes
provide,
me a senior.
here at Senior Services, we provide services to 60 and over.
Okay. And Gustav, what's your story there?
Oh, honestly, you're as young as you feel. But a lot of seniors basically worked with, some of them don't seem like they would be seniors from looking at them. Some of them are actually, in my opinion, are a lot more savvy or more young-hearted. But I guess the textbook answer would be, I guess, 55, which I think is fairly young.
Very young. You probably should still be working at 55, contributing to society and helping those people around you, which maybe they do where they live right now. Xander, how did you get involved?
Okay, with that, I'd say magic number 65 for seniors. I'd say retirement age. That's when they're living their life. They're able to have that freedom after working so hard.
Okay, and Stephanie?
Well, being by the definition of 55, I'm 56. That makes me a senior. I don't know about that. I don't think of myself in those terms. Although when you get to be my age, you start to have a different perspective on life and the future of your own life and your own mortality. That being said, I work in the tech industry, so I deal with people that are generally a lot younger than me. I do not feel old. I don't think I mean, I look old, my age, but I don't feel old. And so I don't know. I think it's how you feel. And to Gustav's point, I've met some people just doing this volunteering that, their limitation is an illness, not the way they feel or their spirit.
Now say that again. That's the limitations.
Their limitation, the reason I have to go grocery shopping for them is because they have an illness like COPD and it was really hot. Those sorts of things. It's not their spirit. It's not that they don't want to participate. They just have some sort of barrier to participation. So they become isolated because of that.
Now, can you get through that barrier or over that barrier? Is that possible?
I think it depends on the barrier and it depends on the person. But, some of the people I've dealt with, they don't have the ability. One gentleman I went grocery shopping for basically was paraplegic from the leg. He just couldn't get out. So, his method of his sort of engagement with the world was incredibly limited. And it made him for a very unhappy human being. And, we developed a friendship, even if it was, short-lived. But it's because there's no engagement. TV and the internet, they're still pretty passive. They're unidirectional. They're not bidirectional. Humans are social by nature. So we need bidirectional communication. And I think that's what some of the people I've met, that's what limits them.
So how many men and women are we talking about here?
Well, you'd have to ask Carl. I just know the people I shop for, so.
Currently, I don't have the numbers per se for, men and women, but with the grocery shopping that Stephanie is part of, we have 21 seniors that are signed up for this program that are currently getting services. And also we have another grocery shopping program under Better at Home, and we have around 20 seniors as well. receiving services for grocery shopping.
So we say somewhere between 40 and 50 at any given time.
Oh yeah, yeah, and it's, you know, the need is just going to go bigger, right? As more people retire, more people will be asking for grocery shopping, and that's where you know, that's when we need more volunteers to be able to provide that service for those seniors.
So when you say they need more grocery shopping, is that because they don't have the ability, or they have disabilities that prevent them from going shopping themselves?
Yeah, it's either or. It could be a physical disability or challenges, or mental challenges as well too, right? So there are different factors why a senior did not just go to a grocery shopping to a grocery store and shop, right? So definitely here in my department, support services, volunteers are really important to make everything happen.
Now, does this situation, does this kind of happen overnight, or is it a progressive thing? Because I think I heard you say there could be some people in their very early 60s.
Yeah, I mean, it varies really from people to people, but it doesn't, I mean, sometimes it does happen overnight. For example, like, you know, falls for seniors is a game changer, right? Like it could be one day you're walking fine, and next thing you know, you're using a cane or a walker. For younger people, you know, when we fall, we get up and we sort of have that, you know, we are able to recover. But for seniors, it's really different.
And so, am I correct saying it could be from 60 on?
It could be 60 on. It could be sometimes 50 on. I mean, we would have calls where people maybe in their 40s would ask help for Meals on Wheels. You know, it's something that you would never think that might happen, that someone in their 40s will ask for someone to cook for them or help them with meals. And same goes with people in their 50s.
Is there one particular thing that happens to an individual sort of in their, let's say, early 50s that causes them to be in this situation? Or is it a multiple of things?
It's a multiple of things, really. I mean, physical, mental, it's just different reasons why a certain person would require extra services or extra help to I guess to help their life.
And do they come to this conclusion themselves that they now need additional help to conduct their lives in a meaningful way?
Yeah, I mean, I think some people, they try to do it on their own, but eventually they would see some, you know, they would find that it's getting harder to do that certain task because of their physical, for example, or, you know, they're not able to remember things anymore. Therefore, they need, you know, like for example, support calls where they are being reminded to do certain things. So it really varies.
Zelda, what's your experience with these people?
So my experience is because personally, I didn't get to spend much time with my grandparents because they weren't around when I was born. However, I had met my grandma on my mom's side before she passed away. And being very family oriented, coming from our Filipino culture, we are very close with family. And because of the distance, I was here in Canada and her being in the Philippines, I wasn't able to give the love and the bond that I wished I had given her. And that's the reason why when I spend time with seniors, I always feel so happy being around them, because I always think of my grandparents and grandma and wish I was able to spend that time with them as well. So that is my motivation to have this connection with the early generation.
And Stephanie, how did you get involved, and what was the attraction for you?
For me, it was a way to be involved and participate in my own community. New Westminster isn't a very large city. Get to know a lot of your neighbors. A lot of my neighbors I help out just because they've lived in their houses for a long period of time. and living in a house is a large undertaking. And I just thought, this would be a good way just to keep myself involved and learn about my community too. A lot of the people that I go grocery shopping for have lived and contributed to New Westminster their entire lives. So it's you get to hear some wonderful stories about the way New Westminster used to be or what they used to do. And you get to meet some just absolutely wonderful people that have a slightly different perspective on how the world is and than you do.
Okay. And Gustav?
Well, a lot of the seniors I work with are in temporary housing and they live alone. I've noticed that a lot of them are very they want to be independent. They want to do something. They want to be productive. And what I've noticed is that some of them don't know how they could be more efficient with what they do. For example, one of the clients we worked with was moving to a new location, and her way of finding out where things were would be to walk around the neighborhood. Mainly because she didn't have access to maps and didn't want to pay for anything like that. So for her, learning how to use Google Maps or figuring out the nearest grocery store near her just by typing in a few keystrokes. A lot of them, once you give them the tools, I've noticed they're very eager to learn and willing to progress with what they've learned. And it's quite really nice to see that even from an older age, they still retain that willingness to improve. And I found that very enlightening.
Well, tell me, and anyone can start. How has your involvement, young people, how has your involvement with young people broadened your understanding of the needs of seniors?
Well, for me, it's given me a lens into what will soon be my own future. And it's made me think of my future in a different way and think about how I will deal with how I age myself. I don't have any parents. I have one sibling. I have no children. So my life will be much like some of these people's lives, where I will probably be in an apartment by myself. And don't feel sorry for me. I do come from a very large Italian family, so there will be people around, but not in a daily way, which is what a lot of people I go grocery shopping for. They live alone. They don't have a spouse that can run out to the store for them. And I have this lady that I shop for, and one Sunday she phones me and she said, I'm so sorry, Stephanie, I forgot to ask you to get me milk. Well, she lives literally 2 blocks from me. I'm like, okay, I'll go get you milk. Really? It took me 2 minutes to go do that. But for her, that would have been a day, 2 days, or however long without milk for her tea. And while if you think about it, it doesn't seem like it's much, but really, if you are used to having a daily cup of tea at 2 o'clock in the afternoon with a cookie, and all of a sudden you can't go to the grocery store to get yourself milk, yeah, it's pretty, I felt like, it's almost like being in a prison, but you didn't commit any crime. You didn't do anything wrong. All you did was age, and you can't get to the grocery store. That's all. You didn't do anything. So for me, it's like, yeah, it really puts a perspective on how I think I want to plan my own aging.
Mm-hmm. Now, so Gustav and Zendel and Carl, you look pretty young to me, and I'm impressed with the fact that you're even involved with elderly people. What drove you to do this?
Well, oh, did you want to go first, Carl?
No, go ahead.
Alrighty. Well, talking to a lot of the seniors, it seems like their situation, a lot of it was out of their control. You can't control when your kidney fails at a young age, or you get hit by a car. A lot of those things you really have no control over. And age, that's something that's going to happen to me. And before I know it, a lot of the advice I've gotten from them was, I basically lived my life, and before I knew it, I was 75. And I think that's something a lot of us at this age don't think about. but it's something we should definitely consider, how fast everything's moving around us. We kind of get caught up in the moment and we forget how much time has gone by. I mean, to me, I didn't even realize we lost 2 years, 3 years over COVID. Like time has gone by pretty fast. And
Pretty fast, yes. Yeah. Zendel, how about you?
I took the initiative in organizing the gift bag care project in our young adult ministry with Awulam. And it was to give to the Lookout Society during Christmas 2020 and the Senior Services Society in Christmas 2021. And personally, it was because during Christmas time, I always feel so blessed, and I wanted to be able to give back to the community by spreading kindness through gift giving. And especially during those years, it was during the pandemic, and I was grateful enough to have spent it with my own family, and thinking of others, they may have had to spend it alone. So that's why I wanted these individuals to feel loved and know that someone cares about them. So because of this project, we were able to spread joy to the seniors as well during Christmas time. And this last Christmas, with our budget, we were able to give to 50 seniors at the Senior Services Society.
Would you say that one of the biggest needs of elderly people is that they're looking for someone who really cares about them as a person?
I do believe in that because a lot of seniors that I've witnessed, they've probably already lost their spouse. They've already had grown children that have already moved on with their lives, having their own family of their own. So with seniors, I do believe that there needs to be some connection with them, and overall they need to have someone around them, or else they'll feel lost and they won't know what's going on if they don't have a friend beside them.
Okay, okay. And you say this could start as young as 50-ish, 55-ish, 60-ish,
60-ish, yeah.
60-ish, eh? And Carl?
Just to add what Zendel said about family. I've been here at Senior Services for almost 7 years, and what I learned is, the seniors really need that connection. And what I learned as well too is that sometimes their family, either they don't have a family anymore, they don't have a spouse, they don't have children, or if they have children, they live far away to the point where they can't come running if they need help. So that's what we do here at Senior Services to provide those services, to make sure that they live independent at home and stay at home a little bit longer.
Well, it seems to me, not being that aware of what you folks do, but what you do is extremely important and critical to help these, let's say, elderly people. I don't view them as elderly. Some of them are a lot younger than me. And one day I might have to be there, I don't know. So you need to be uplifted yourselves, and you need to be congratulated for your dedication and commitment to these people. How do they find you? If they're looking at this broadcast and they've never heard of you, how do they find you and make application to become a member, or to become involved, or to move into that house?
Yeah, they can go to our website at seniorservicessociety.ca, and then we have volunteer postings. And currently we're looking for support callers, grocery order takers, and medical transportation drivers. So and also volunteer hours. They're not a 9 to 5 kind of thing. I think that's what some people get turned off by, because it's another work day for them. But spending an hour to 3 hours giving it to a senior goes a really long way.
Is there one thing that is quite general to all seniors that they need more than anything else?
I mean, like Stephanie said, grocery shopping is a big one, really. I mean, especially during the 2020 when the pandemic started, seniors are not allowed to, or we're told to stay at home and just be safe. So that's where Stephanie came from, and the other volunteers, and started providing grocery shopping for them.
Okay. Well, in our closing minutes here, if I could go, I'll start with you, Stephanie. What one thing would you like to leave this audience with? That could be vast, could be all over the province. I'm expect might even be in Alberta and Saskatchewan or what have you. What one thing would you like to leave them that they could mobilize to help you and help the seniors in their own communities?
Well, I think that people need to view this not as giving up anything of their time, because it's not, you're not giving up anything. You know, for me, when you think about grocery shopping, it's a transactional thing. And, you know, from the very first steps of when you start volunteering, you know, you learn, you talk to the senior, you take their grocery list. Very soon, probably not long after, it stops being transactional and it starts to be a relationship. So it's while you might go get, you know, 4 or 5 or 10 items for this person, you can often land up spending half an hour, and this is of your own free will. I'm not in any one of these seniors' homes going, got to get going. I have conversations with them. We talk about things. You land up getting a relationship out of it. And right now, the world is in this place where relationships are on a very slippery slope, I think. You know, we tend to look at everybody from a us or them, black and white, young and old. We sort of put labels on lots of people. And I think if you can learn to forgo all of that and just see people as people, regardless of gender, ethnicity, age, I think humans would be a lot better off. So what it's given me is this wonderful, you know, relationship. I've met some of the most interesting people I've ever met in my entire life. One lady, I met her. She was in a swing skirt and a bustier when I dropped her groceries off for her. And I thought to myself, when I'm your age, I want to be just like you. You know, the only thing that limited her was the fact that she couldn't walk very well. So no, she can't go get 2 liters of Coke and you know, a big thing of garbage bags and toilet paper. Sure, she might be able to go to the store to get, you know, some small items, but the big, bulky, heavy things, she needs somebody else out there to go get. I sat in that woman's kitchen for about an hour, just talking to her about her life, just the music she liked, you know, that she liked to go dancing. The guys she thought were still hot. These are people that are like young, you know, these young movie stars. And she's like, oh, I like him. And I just chuckled and thought, this is the greatest thing. My husband sent me a text. Aren't you home yet? I'm like, no, still talking. Because, you know, it's just fun.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Zendel, how would you answer that question?
Well, for me, my thoughts are, how can we get more millennials involved? And hopefully even through this podcast, because that's really where we're focused nowadays and the rest of the social media world. Hopefully we'll be able to reach more millennials by showing our experience, being a good example, and show how rewarding volunteering is. Because for me, it really gives me gratification and I feel so blessed. And I want to share with others that the way I hope to spread my love to my grandparents is the way that I also spread to seniors. So it's really worth giving your time to. And because of this, I'm sure with the projects that we shared, it could be of interest for them to choose which one they'd like to engage in, and they can come aboard.
Okay. Gustav.
Yeah, just to echo what Carl was saying earlier, it's only like an hour, maybe like for me, it's like 3 hours a week. It goes by really fast, and that hour you spend with them, that could make their week, or that could make their month or their day. And it's such a small thing to give, and it makes such a big difference to one or multiple people. And you know, it's great value add into your community. I think that's what we should start doing from a younger generation and carry it on.
And Carl.
No, just to echo what Stephanie said, I think the best part of my job is the rapport that I get from the seniors. Really, it's not just providing them services with grocery shopping, medical transportation, support calls. etc. It's the rapport really that that I created with them. And sometimes I would just get a call from them and say, "Hey, how you doing?" And then we will talk about other things that's not part of our work. And not only with seniors and even just the family members as well too. You know, for them to come up to me and ask for my input on such things that, you know, I would never have thought that that would happen really. So, you know, creating the rapport with seniors and their family members, that's sort of like my highlight or the best thing about my job.
Well, what this half hour has been meant to me, it's impressive that younger people than me are so committed and dedicated to helping our seniors, particularly in New Westminster, because I view myself as a New Westminster boy, even though I wasn't born here, but I came here when I was 12. And so I commend you for what you're doing and what your organization is doing. So how can other people get involved with you or get involved with this organization?
Oh, yes.
What is your biggest need?
Our biggest need right now are support callers, grocery order taker, and medical transportation. So those are the things that we're looking for right now. Like I said, there's going to be more seniors retiring, more people retiring. Therefore, the needs are just about to get bigger, and we're especially support calls. I mean, during this time during the pandemic, where people are isolated in their own homes, so just to have someone call them every day or even every other day goes a long way for them. And with like Stephanie with grocery shopping once a week, it's great as well. And then medical transportation. People are starting to have medical appointments right now, and they often don't have anyone to take them to their appointments, or they're not suitable to be taking the public transportation because of various reasons. So having someone to give 1 or 2 hours of their time and take them to their medical appointments, it goes a really long way.
So my last question would be, as the North American, Canadian, Western Canadian population get older, the need for your services is going to be more apparent. How do you provide for that?
Oh, just with the help of our volunteers, such as Stephanie, Gustav, and Sandel, they make it happen for us. I mean, without our volunteers, we won't be able to provide these kind of services. So we highly encourage everyone to volunteer, and like I said earlier, go to our website at seniorservicessociety.ca. There will be volunteer postings out there. So, and it's really to apply, and you can do it during your free time. And like I said earlier, 1 to 3 hours of your weekend or whenever you're free. Our seniors are really appreciated for the time that they receive from other people. So.
Well, all 4 of you need to be congratulated for your commitment, for your dedication, for your compassion, for your understanding, and for observing and finding that there is this need that your particular gifts and talents can help with. And so I commend you for that.
Well,
and thank you for the opportunity to interview you. I appreciate that very much.
Thank you so much, Peter. Thank you for having us.
You're very welcome.